People ask me this all the time, usually with a mix of hope and skepticism in their voice. Dr. Connor, do you really believe that you can help decrease things like autism, allergies, and chronic disease in kids? I want to give you my honest, unshielded answer today because it's the reason I wrote the book and it's the reason I built an entire program around it. Here's what I won't tell you. I won't tell you I have a magic formula that guarantees you a specific outcome. Nobody on us can promise you that. But here's something almost nobody tells you, and it's the whole reason that I wrote this. Genes might load the gun, but for most chronic conditions, they don't pull the trigger. Your environment does. The gut, the toxic load, the nutrient stores, the stress. That means that there's a real locus of control here that most parents were never told about. Genes are not a sentence, but here's what 25 years into medicine and years spent digging into research in epigenetics, the microbiome, the toxic load, and nutrient density has shown me that a massive percentage of what we call modern childhood illness, allergies, asthma, autoimmune conditions, brain issues like ADD and autism, and a rising number of other diagnoses is being shaped inside bodies that were built during a window almost nobody talks about, the preconception period. The months before pregnancy even begins, when mom and dad's gut health and nutrient stores and toxic burden are quietly laying the foundation for a child's entire life that is formed from conception. That's not a fringe theory, that's a basic biology. You cannot build a strong house on a compromised foundation. And for decades, medicine is focused almost entirely on the baby after it's already here, almost never before the months before conception when the foundation is actually being laid. So when someone asks me, can you prevent autism? Here's my honest answer. I can't promise you a guarantee, nobody can. But I can tell you this with full confidence. As a physician who has studied this for years, we can dramatically reduce the risk factors driving the numbers we're seeing. We can build healthier guts, healthier mitochondria, lower toxic loads, better nutrient stores, and calmer nervous systems in moms and dads before conception ever happens. And when we do, we give the child the strongest possible foundation to thrive. That's not a fringe idea anymore. That's where the research in epigenetics and preconception health is headed. I didn't invent the science. What I did was put it together. Take what's scattered across a dozen different specialties and years of research and build it into one clear, actionable path for parents. That's the book, that's the program. I believe we're at the front edge of something enormous, a shift from reactive medicine that waits for a diagnosis to a completely different model, building health so early and so intentionally that fewer families have to walk the road so many are walking today. And I want to say this clearly, if you already have a child with autism or allergies or chronic conditions, none of this is about anything you did wrong or saying your child isn't beautiful. Most of us were never taught any of this. I wasn't taught most of this in medical school. This is about the parents standing at the starting line right now and giving them everything I know, gathered from every corner of research, so that they can give their children the healthiest possible start. I've spent 20 years in emergency medicine treating the downstream sickness that's already arrived, damage that's already done, families already in crisis, and somewhere in those years, I got tired of being the last line of defense. I wanted to be part of the first one. That's not a rejection of all conventional medicine, it's an addition and an awakening. Typical medicine treats symptoms after they show up. Functional medicine asks what built the foundation on those symptoms are standing on, and preconception is the earliest foundation that there is. If this is the first time you're hearing something like this, I understand if it sounds like a big claim. It is a big claim, but I didn't build it on hope. I built it on years of research and clinical experience, and I put every bit of it into my book, End of Autism, How to Have a Healthy Mother and Baby, and into the Healthy Mom and Baby program. If you're a parent or hoping to be one and you want to know exactly how to build that foundation before conception ever happens, you are exactly who I built this for. I invite you to grab the book. If you want the full step-by-step path, the labs, the timeline, the exact protocol, the online Healthy Mama Baby program walks you through every piece of it. Comment below if you've ever felt like nobody told you any of this before conception, because that's exactly the gap I'm trying to close. This is the conversation nobody had with you before conception. I want to be the one who does.